And look at this. He's no avatar. He is in the studio in person.
No Navi. No, I'm here.
Here with me live last hour as we got those nominations coming out. Very exciting. A lot expected, some surprises, which we'll get to, but I mentioned Everything Everywhere All at Once. The bettors were right. It leads in terms of numbers.
11 nominations, Everything Everywhere, this wonderful kind of science fiction journey that at its heart is about a mother and daughter's relationship that is strained to the breaking point where it might break the universe as we know it. Michelle Yeoh, after decades in the business, finally showing Hollywood her true range, and Everything Everywhere is everywhere in the categories this morning. Multiple nominations. You have in some categories actresses competing against each other, like Stephanie Hsu competing against Jamie Lee Curtis in the Best Supporting Actress category. Ke Huy Quan, you know him, you love him from Goonies, now back enjoying this award season run. There he is playing the husband. So that is your big contender right now. And it kind of fits in that it's a popcorn film, but it's also a really creative, meaningful film. Let's move on and take a look at Elvis. 9 nominations this morning, taking the story of what some consider the king of rock and roll. Imagine being able to step into the blue suede shoes of the icon of rock and roll, but Austin Butler found a way to do it. There you see him shake, rattling, and rolling. Nothing for Tom Hanks this morning, but certainly for Butler. Nothing for the director, Baz Luhrmann, but in a lot of the craft categories, production design, and whatnot. 9 nominations. Let's move on to one of my favorites, The Banshees of Inisherin, another movie where you have actors competing against each other. Barry Keoghan and Brendan Gleeson competing in the Best Supporting Actor category. Colin Farrell, career highlight for me. There he is as this friend with his heart broken. 9 nominations this morning. And then finally, a surprise for some, I think, All Quiet on the Western Front. So this is the adaptation of the 1929 classic novel, been made many times, a new blistering version. I mean, really kind of a film to endure, but impactful in terms of understanding the true horrors of war. It's on Netflix, and I wonder if that helped it bring in 9 nominations overall, Heather.
Canadian content. Let's get right to a tweet. We're getting the very first reaction from nominated Canadian Sarah Polley. She writes, "I'm very happy today and so grateful to the incredible collective of cast and crew who made Women Talking." 2 nominations for her.
She was Oscar nominated before with Away From Her. Here she is nominated again. She gets the adapted screenplay for that amazing adaptation, taking Miriam Toews' novel about these women in a religious community who have been sexually assaulted and trying to make that difficult choice. What do they do? Do they leave? Do they stay? Do they fight? All of those different perspectives, somehow cramming that into a 2.5-hour screenplay. I was not surprised to see her nominated in that category, but to get through after being overlooked in the director category and now a Best Picture nominee, that is fantastic. So excited for her. And I'm also very excited for Domi Shi and Turning Red. This Canadian director taking her own experience growing up and giving us this hilarious and insightful film about a girl who is growing into a woman and sometimes growing into a red fluffy monster, and using what she knew, bringing us Toronto and all its multicultural glory. So Turning Red nominated this morning in animation category, and that is fantastic news.
What about surprises?
So Ana de Armas, she does a movie called Blonde, and this is a movie about Marilyn Monroe. Now, you know the Oscar voters have a soft spot for movies about movies and movies about well-known icons. And look at that, the costume and just the look and all of it. But this was a really kind of, again, brutal look at the real life of Marilyn Monroe, and frankly, not a film that was kindly reviewed, but I think perhaps just what she did to become the Marilyn we know and be able to kind of show us this very kind of raw portrayal of what it was like existing as Marilyn, getting nominated this morning. So that is a big surprise, not one that a lot of people expected. Let's move on and take a look at Living. So this is a film starring Bill Nye, just opened last week. It's based on the Japanese classic Kiru from Kurosawa. It's about a British gentleman who gets a diagnosis and reevaluates his life. Bill Nye's performance is so quiet, but so powerful. He can do something, Heather, with just the turn of his mouth, just the kind of the wink of his eye. I'm so elated to see this getting attention, and that is what an Oscar nomination can do. So fantastic stuff from him, and I'll finish with one of my favorite other character actors working today, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway. So he plays a veteran who's really struggling with what he's endured and trying to put his life together, co-starring Jennifer Lawrence. We hadn't seen her on screen in a long time, but it was Brian Tyree Henry who's done such great work in so many films, from the Atlanta series to more. So certainly that was not on a lot of people's betting ballots this morning, but fantastic to see.
Thank you for coming in. March the 12th, Los Angeles, Jimmy Kimmel the host. That means book March the 13th, Monday morning. We'll see you in your tux.
There you go.
Eli Glasner on Oscar nomination day. Thank you so much.